What is going on, everyone? Tim from Tearfont Orbital. It's going to be an SK heavy kind of day. I've got 3 demo videos to record for different variations on the SK. So we're just going to hop right into it. This is a demo for an install that I completed on a Raxus from SP Sabers and Solo Sabers. This particular install also has the hot taco chassis from the taco shop. Carlos designed the chassis for this, so it's a really phenomenal chassis. So I want to go over a little bit in detail what I did to the chassis, what I did to the install. I did some modifications to the chassis as far as shine through is concerned. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and then of course we will put a battery in it. We will do a demo, put a blade in it, and then you'll be on your way, right? So anyhow, let's come up top and talk about this hilt. Okay, so here we are. This is the Raxus from SP Sabers, designed by the one and only Jeremy from Solo Sabers. So I went over my personal Raxus already, and I gushed about it. I really think this is a phenomenally designed hilt. It's a great hilt, right? So you add in the fact that there is a really nice reveal chassis to this. It is really a great SK specimen, right? So let's get started, right? At the request of the client, I did weather this hilt. Weathering this hilt for me looks like this, right? So the steel parts to this grip, they come already mounted with some 3M tape, right? So I removed those and then heat stained them, and then went over the heat stain with some Scotch-Brite just to make it look a little bit more dynamic and to keep that color in these ridges, right? I also remove these ribs, these brass ribs, and weather those. I unscrewed the pommel. I did a little bit of scratching on this pommel as well. I come back on all of this black anodization, and I knock back all of the edges on it just to make it look like it's been used. It's been knocked around a little bit. I did add some scratches as well. The kit comes with 2 types of rods. There's a brass, three actually. There are brass rods, titanium rods, and there are also clear rods. So I kept these titanium and heat stained them as well at the request of the customer, right? The probe and crystal holder are also in titanium. They have been heat stained. And of course, behind that crystal, we've got that grate that was designed by Carlos at the taco shop. We've got a real quartz crystal in here, and that's it, right? So I also aluminum black the whole thing, aluminum black the grip, aluminum black the upper shroud area, and then I went back and epoxied these steel parts in place. I also epoxied the ribs in place, and then I took a scouring pad and took my aluminum black off. I love having more aluminum black in these corners. To me, it just looks natural that there's just grime that's accumulated in here. Like, so naturally, if this was actually, being used in the real world, all of these ridges is where you would have grime accumulating. So I like to keep that a little bit dirty, right? Same thing with like the edges in the control box area. I did knock up the control box with a little bit of scarring. There is a scratch here as well. And I did do some notches in the upper part of the shroud, right? Really awesome hilt. So to get at your chassis, you want to unscrew this grip. So the taco shop chassis that I put in this one has some steel parts, right? So the board cover was in steel, the battery cover was in steel, and this waist grill section was in steel. So I've got a 2020 neopixel strip underneath this grill. That's also got a piece of brass mesh and some mylar in between it just to help with diffusion. And then it was heat stained, obviously. The brass parts were also weathered naturally. I've got a real quartz. I think this is actually a Rose Quartz that's in here. Real quartz point. The way that I like doing these is I like to find quartz points that are skinny enough so that I can get the point up inside of this rotating plasma gate. So it looks like the plasma gate's rotating around the crystal. I love that. So here's our battery tray. This is an 18350 battery, and here is our board. We've got an OLED screen here as well. This is a Proffie V3 build. And that's it, right? So I am going to, you can put the battery cover on, obviously, or the board cover, battery cover. So one of the things I noticed about this particular version of the chassis, when you've got all the metal parts on, it's tight. It's a really, really tight build. I mean, obviously the grip will screw on and everything, but I'm going to leave these off for the demo. They are held in place with magnets, but I'm going to take them off while we do this demo, right? So 18350 battery. This is a very tight battery tray, right? So it's a very, very, it's a very delicate dance that you have to do, right? So you want to put your battery in. I've just kind of been, and as you put your battery in, you want to push down and in, right? It's super tight. Just be careful with it. That's all I've got to say. And to get the battery out, I actually do use like a little pry tool to help the battery out of that tray, right? So let's hit our kill switch. So here is our neopixel strip. This is its own blade in the config. The Rose Quartz point is its own blade in the config. The crystal and the PCB are sub blades. So technically they're their own blade, but they are set up as a sub blade. Okay. Here is our OLED screen, and that's it. There's that spinning crystal or spinning plasma gate. Really, really love that about this chassis, right? All right, let's come down to the bottom. Okay, so I did not put the grip on yet, but there is that neopixel strip, lit crystal chamber. I mean, this is just such an awesome chassis. And another thing that is so cool about this chassis is that the way Carlos designed it, he put the crystal chamber in the way that Carlos designed it is he put the crystal chamber in a perfect spot so that you can see it when you remove this magnetized door. So Jeremy from Solo Sabers incorporated this into the design. So that's a really, really awesome reveal feature, right? So you can see, oh, I don't have twist to activate on this one. You can see that motor, that plasma gate spinning, right? Great sounding hilt. I mean, this is such a good hilt. So let's see what else we put on here.
Welcome to the bill.
No twist activate on this one. Man, I'm just realizing, man, so you've got shine through in this back red button. You've got shine through in this front thumb screw. I mean, this is such a good hilt, man. Oh, man. Such a good hilt.
I'm Cal Kestis.
Great hilt. Let's put a blade in it. Okay, so another awesome thing about this hilt is that it is 7/8 inch, right? So you want to take your blade, rest it on those PCB pins, right? I have been using this red button as a blade retention. It doesn't protrude very far into the emitter section, but it's, for me and for mine as well, it's far enough so that you can use this as blade retention, right? So once you get that tightness, you're ready to go. Such a good hilt. One more. Lit crystal chamber. There is that motor reveal. So cool. So cool. All right, one more.
Kylo Ren.
Sounds so good. There is a 28 millimeter speaker from Smugglers Outpost in this thing. This is just a great, again, it's just a great specimen of an SK hilt, right? So enough of that. To the client, thank you very much for trusting me with your install. If anyone has any questions about this particular install or the hilt itself, please do not be a stranger. And with that being said, may the force be with you always. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. See you real soon.